Have you ever noticed that Apple rarely launches products first to the market, but when they do, it's almost perfect? How do they achieve this? It's all about their slow evolutionary design philosophy, or what I call the Gradualist Design Theory. Think about the Apple products you know and love, like the AirPods, iPhone, MacBook, and even the classic iPod. These products didn't just become iconic overnight, there's something deeper at play. Something that makes them not just successful, but legendary. Apple has mastered the art of slow evolution in design, refining each product over time without ever losing its core essence. Today, we're going to dive deep into Apple's slow design process, using AirPods as a prime example, and explore why this careful, steady evolution is the secret behind their success. But before we dive deep, please consider subscribing if you enjoy content related to design and science behind the products. I really appreciate your support. So the first benefit of this slow design approach is consistency and familiarity. Over time, companies become more consistent with the design language of their products, and consumers they become more familiar with those products. Take Apple for example. They have been producing headphones since 2001, yet they have maintained a consistent design language in terms of colors, materials, and finishes. The initial EarPods, launched with the iPod in 2001, look similar to the 2007 EarPods that came with the iPhone and the 2009 EarPods, which were bundled with the iPod Touch. Sure, there were some subtle design changes like a visible white ring, speaker mesh, and slight material tweaks in the headphone jack. But if you show them to any random user, they will say that it's the same product. The same can be seen in the transition of the Apple EarPods to the AirPods. They didn't completely change the design that people had grown accustomed to over the years. They carefully retained the iconic shape of the AirPods with their curves, lines, and smooth rounded edges. The only and the most significant change was the removal of the wire that connected the earbuds to give the user a truly wireless experience. But this transition wasn't just about cutting the cord. It was about maintaining a design language that was already deeply familiar to the users. The EarPods have become the symbol of Apple's sleek minimalist approach, and by preserving that visual identity in the AirPods, Apple ensured that the new product felt like a natural evolution rather than a radical departure. But not all the products were consistent. There were some outliers too, like these in-ear headphones and this black Bluetooth headset. I really don't know what Apple was trying to make here. But the fact that these products were not successful actually proves my point that consistency and design always wins. But what does this consistency bring to the user? It makes them familiar to the products. People prefer to buy products they recognize or have seen before. That's the whole concept of marketing. What's seen is sold. But in design, familiar colors, materials, and finishes evoke a sense of ease and confidence. If you have used a product in the past and found it user-friendly, functional, and reliable, you are likely to associate all those positive emotions with a new product that looks and feels similar, even before buying it. And there is one more thing that comes with familiarity, which is affordance. It is a quality or property of an object that defines its possible uses or make clear how it can or should be used. In simple terms, whenever you encounter any product, you try to figure out how this thing works. Like in a smartphone, when you see these two buttons, your brain knows that these are volume up and down button. Companies do not need to put a speaker sign on it. And the same goes for the AirPod. You know that one tap was pause and play and two tap was next song. So when they changed the tap to pinch in the AirPods Pro, consumers didn't need to learn the function again. They just need to switch the gesture from tap to pinch. And they applied the same principle to the Vision Pro. They introduced a completely new way of interaction using just the index finger and the thumb for pinch and tap action. But they didn't just drop this on the users out of the blue. They first introduced similar gestures on the Apple Watch, allowing people to get accustomed to this new form of interaction. So even when Apple reinvents the wheel, it still feels familiar. Following this slow design process, brands focused on refinement over reinvention. Or more accurately, they reinvent over a broad period of time so it feels like refinement. For instance, the first AirPods were just two earpieces with a wire. Then, in 2007, when they were bundled with the first iPhone, they added a button for picking up and ending calls. Later, in 2009, when the same AirPods were launched with the iPod Touch, volume buttons were added to the wire, but not out of goodwill, but because the iPod Touch lacked volume buttons. We can see the same approach in the development of AirPods. Apple first launched a Bluetooth headset in 2007. Don't ask me why they chose a design resembling a pipe organ combined with a round speaker, but it gave them a head start in miniaturizing Bluetooth technology. And later, when they nailed the outer design with the in-ear EarPods in 2012, they began working on the first AirPods, combining both of these two elements in a single product. 4 years later, in 2016, they've launched the first AirPods, which have become the most successful truly wireless earbuds ever. And don't think that AirPods Pro just appeared out of nowhere. It was the refined version of a product that was launched in 2004. Apple first launched in-ear earphones with silicone tips in 2004 as a premium offering for the iPod, and then again in 2008 for the iPhone. This time, they even included a carrying case with a triangular frame to wrap the wire around. You might be thinking that this white case with a silver line looks like an AirPod case, but it's actually a case for the ear tips. You can see how when they decided to create an earpiece with the active noise cancellation, they leveraged their experience with silicone tips and combined it with their miniaturized Bluetooth technology to create the AirPods Pro. This is how companies can achieve focused innovation. They don't disrupt the entire product line at once, but rather focus on perfecting individual aspects over time. Next key aspect of Apple's slow design approach is not chasing every trend. Instead, they build a timeless identity that resonates with people. For example, when Apple first launched their white earbuds with the iPod in 2001, they didn't just create a gadget, they created an image that everyone remembers. Those iconic ads featuring people dancing freely with white earbuds and colorful backgrounds weren't just selling music players, they were selling a feeling of freedom and joy. Now, even after 23 years and despite all the technological advances, AirPods still carry that same vibe. The image of someone lost in their music is still a part of how Apple presents AirPods today, just without the wires. By sticking to this consistent, recognizable identity, Apple has made their products feel timeless. Rather than jumping on every new trend, they have refined their original idea, making it stronger and more iconic over the years. This approach helps keep Apple products not just relevant, but also deeply connected with the people year after year. Another important part of slow design is creating a strong emotional connection with the users. Apple has done this brilliantly with the AirPods by building on the familiar and beloved design of their original white AirPods. For a lot of people, those early iPod ads with dancing silhouettes weren't just commercial, they were part of life. Music becoming portable with 10,000 songs in your pocket is a core memory for a lot of people. The image of someone dancing with their music completely free and in the moment became something people connected with on a personal level. And when Apple introduced AirPods, they didn't just bring a new product to the market, they carried forward that emotional connection. The design of AirPods is a clear evolution of those original earbuds, but with added features that match people's lives today, like wireless freedom and seamless integration with other Apple devices. This continuity means that every time someone pops in their AirPods, it's more than just listening to the music. It's reliving that feeling of freedom and connection that started with the iPod. Over time, this consistent design and experience have deepened the emotional bond between Apple and its users. People feel like they have been on a journey with Apple, from the early days of wired earbuds to today's sleek wireless AirPods. It's not just about having the latest tech. It's about the memories, the moments, and the music that they have been part of their lives for years. This emotional connection is what keeps people coming back to Apple products generation after generation. So Apple's slow design process isn't just about making products that look good or work well. It's about creating a deep and lasting connection with the users. By staying consistent, familiar, and emotionally resonant, Apple has built products like AirPods that aren't just tools but are woven into the fabric of our lives. Each new iteration feels like a natural evolution rather than a drastic change, making us feel like we are part of a continuous journey. It's this thoughtful, patient approach to design that keep Apple products not just relevant but iconic. As we look to the future, it's clear that Apple's commitment to slow, deliberate design will continue to set them apart, creating products that people just don't use, but they love. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insights into the science of products. See you next time. Thank you.